Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to install the Goldstrike LED rotor cover to a 2024 Honda Goldwing. The Goldstrike LED rotor covers will fit Goldwing's year models 2018 through 2025. I want you to stay tuned to this video, and we're going to get this installed on the new style Honda Goldwing. So let's get started. The Goldstrike LED rotor covers are a plug and play. It'll plug directly to the Goldstrike distribution block, or you can power the rotor covers with the Goldstrike harness, part number 48000. So we're gonna open up the box. I'm gonna show you what we're getting before we get this installed inside of the Honda Goldwing. So we're getting the chrome LED rotor covers. They also come in black as an option. We have the mounting brackets. We have a right and left side. I'll show you how to get that installed. Inside of the hardware kit, we get in some zip ties for cable management. We have these cable stays that we're going to use to manage our wiring. We have some adhesion promotion, and also we have some of these small screws that we're going to use to install the rotor covers. It also comes with this connector. You can plug it directly inside of the fuse box if you do not have the wiring harness or the Goldstrike distribution block. Installation instructions. And we have the chrome rotor covers. So let me show you how we're going to get this installed inside of the Honda Goldwing. First step, you want to open up your saddlebags. You want to pop off the side battery cover. And we want to remove the side cover. To remove the seat, I'm using a 6mm Allen. We have 2 bolts, one on each side. I'm going to take out these 2 bolts. Be careful not to lose the washer. We have another bolt on the other side. I'm going to unplug the harness, and then I can remove the seat. Open up the saddlebag. Take off the side compartment, the side panel. Comes right out. You have a screw, 6mm. Remove that 6mm bolt that goes through the seat. Be careful not to drop the washer. There's the bolt. The next step is removing this harness. I'm just going to push in on this tab. And I need to unplug the harness. To unplug the harness, just push in on the tab here at the top, right here, and then pull it apart. Okay. So we have the harness disconnected. Next, I'm ready to remove the seat. And now I can remove this seat. So looking underneath the seat, we're going to power the rotor covers with the Goldstrike distribution block that's already installed here underneath the seat. We have a left side and a right side. I'm going to take my needle nose and just pop out one of these rubber plugs, one on each side. There's one for the left, and we're going to do the same for the right. It doesn't matter which one you take loose, they're all the same. Just going to take out one of these rubber plugs. There we go. And these are going to plug directly into the LED rotor covers. I need to remove the fenders on the front. I'm using a 5mm Allen. We have 4 screws that we need to remove. There is one. We have 2 bolts on the opposite side, one on the bottom, one on the top. There is the gray washer. One here on the top. There's the top. Next, I can lift out the fender, and it kind of drops down in that slot. As you can see, this notch kind of goes down in that spot right there. After removing the painted fender, the next step is to drop down the black inner fender. To remove that black inner plastic fender, you need to take out 4 bolts. You have 2 bolts at the front and 2 bolts at the rear. I'm using a 5mm T-handle Allen key. To remove the 2 bolts toward the rear, a long T-handle Allen may not fit. It's probably a good idea to use a smaller Allen wrench or a Allen socket to access the 2 bolts toward the rear. Once you remove those 2 bolts, you can then slide down the black plastic inner fender to pass your wires through doing cable management. So the next step is to take out these pinch bolts on the bottom so I can install the brackets. We have one for the right and one for the left. So remove these 2 pinch bolts. I'm using a 10mm ratchet and wrench to remove the lower pinch bolts. There's one. There's the second one. So this will be the left bracket. Okay, we're going to install this left bracket. We're going to put the 2 pinch bolts back through the bottom of the bracket. I like to hand tighten them first and then use my wrench to tighten them back down to 16 foot-pounds. I've installed the bracket on the right side of the Honda Goldwing. The next step is installing the bracket to the left side of the Honda Goldwing. The procedure on the right is the exact same procedure as the left. I find that the inner bolt is a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder to screw back in, whereas the outer bolt is a lot easier. So next I'm going to open up the rotor covers. So the next step of the installation is to install the L brackets to the top of the rotor covers. We got a right and a left side. I'm going to take my M5 nut and M16 screw to tighten down the L bracket. Flip it upside down. Install the M5. Use a 3mm Allen. I just want to take a second to pause the video to show you this bracket that goes onto the top of the chrome rotor cover. Make sure when you mount the L bracket that the larger hole is toward the outside facing the LED light. So just make sure that when you're ready to mount your chrome rotor covers, that biggest hole on the L bracket is toward the outside. So the next step before installing the rotor covers, we need to get the zip tie keepers installed to the inner portion of the fork, and that's going to keep the cable from rubbing against the rotor. This is an important part of the installation, is placing the zip tie keepers on the inside of the fork. It comes with this adhesive. You can peel the sticker. It's like a double-sided tape, and it sticks right here inside of the fork. It keeps the wire from scrubbing the rotor. Apply the adhesion promoter, or you can clean this with some rubbing alcohol to make sure that the zip tie keeper sticks. I've already cleaned this area with some alcohol, but if the bike is really dirty, be sure to use some adhesion promoter. So peel the protective film on the back and run your zip tie through and place it on the inside of the fork just above this notch. And you want to put one on each side of the fork. Also, I like to take a second zip tie keeper and stick it on the inside of the rotor cover And this is going to keep that wire from rubbing against the rotor. So run your zip tie through. Peel your adhesive, or peel that protective film on the rear, and place the zip tie keeper just on the inside of the rotor cover. And you want to zip tie this down. So we're going to snip off that loose end. Get in there. So when you run your cable, it stays up under with the zip tie keeper. So we're going to do the other side. We're going to place a zip tie keeper just above the notch within the fork. I'm going to put my zip tie through the keeper. Make sure you clean that area. So I'm going to reach in just above that notch, kind of in the center. And place the zip tie keeper. I'm going to take the second rotor cover. We're going to put a zip tie keeper just underneath. Next, I'm going to run my wire, tighten my zip tie. Snip off the loose end. And this is going to keep the wire right in line of the rotor cover, and it's going to prevent it from rubbing up against the rotor. In this portion of the video, before I actually mount the rotor cover, I need to route the wires between the fork and the black plastic fender. Drop down the black plastic fender, feed your wire through, and pull your slack through the other side. Use a flashlight if it makes the Goldstrike wires more visible. The black L bracket that is mounted to the roof of the LED rotor cover will sit onto the slot in line with the lower fender threads. While holding the L bracket into place, slide the lower portion of the rotor cover over the lower brackets that's mounted underneath the pinch bolts. So underneath the bottom, you got a spot here and a spot here. The two bolts that came in the kit is going to bolt underneath the bottom. To remove this rotor cover, you're just going to pull down off of those slots. And the rotor cover comes out. So you want to make sure that you pull down, line up them holes, and drop it into place. So take the two screws that came in the kit and tighten these to the bottom of the brackets. So I placed the 2 bolts, one here and one there. So next I'm going to take the cable and I'm going to put it inside of this zip tie. Some needle nose may even make it a little bit easier. Take the cable, run it through the zip tie. I'm going to cut off my loose end. For cable management, pull your Goldstrike wiring through the forks between the fender. Add an additional zip tie keeper to the sides of the inner black plastic fender, repeating the exact same steps to the opposite side of the front wheel. It's better to take a flashlight, put it behind the fender. And push it all the way through the back. Pull your slack. Go. So now that I have the rotor cover onto the bracket, next I can take my zip tie, tighten down the zip tie keeper, cut off my loose end, so I have the rotor cover installed. I got the zip tie keeper. I need to pull slack, pull the wires through the back, tighten the 2 bolts on the top, and put back the 2 bolts on the rear. So I'm going to add another zip tie keeper just for cable management. Taking a little bit of alcohol and cleaning the inner fork. There we go. I like to run my wire on the outside of this bracket, and that way it don't rub up against the rotor. Take the 2 screws that came in the kit that's provided, tighten to the bottom of the rotor cover. So take your time when putting on your rotors. Make sure that you got the wires running away from the rotors. am I working hard when I got a short stubby? You have to break out all of the tubes, man. I'm trying to keep from breaking out all of the tubes.
Hey.
Short ratchet makes it easier. So the next step would be to run the wires along the side of the bike, along the side of the Honda Goldwing, and we can plug these inside of the distribution block. Make sure when you run your wires behind the forks, make sure you move the forks, or make sure you move the wheel right to left. You don't want to pull the wires loose, so you want to leave some slack there, so when you're turning, that it's not going to pull your wires. So I ran the wire, I kind of reached in, ran the wire behind this frame, ran it on the top of this area, along the side of the bike, take out this bolt and kind of just pop this out just a little bit. You're going to feel the give, take a little flashlight, reach up in, kind of tuck it in there, come away from up under the bottom. Take your flashlight, now I can put back that bolt. And then just plug it directly into the Goldstrike distribution block. Until you hear it snap in. And now we're ready to do the other side. So now I'm gonna do the same to this side. Just gonna find a spot to feed my wire. I like to go around this subframe. So working on this left side of the bike. So I'm gonna pull my wire through. Be sure to check it for slack. I'm gonna run across the top. And then I'm gonna come out of the side right here by the parking brake. I'm gonna take out this bolt. Just gonna kind of pull back on this side panel. Run my wire through. Tighten that back down. So I'm gonna plug this in on the left side of the Goldstrike distribution block. After plugging in the Goldstrike lighted rotor covers into the lighting distribution block, verify that the running lights, the right turn signals, and the left turn signals are working properly. So I can put back the fender. Bolt with the clear plastic washer goes on the bottom. The black rubber washer goes on top. Next, I'm going to verify that it got slack when I turn. And this will conclude my installation video of the Goldstrike LED rotor covers on the new style Honda Goldwing that fits Goldwing year models 2018 through 2025. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. And if you like this video, be sure to click the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'll see you a little bit later out here in the Caliente garage.